Alright, welcome to today's video. My name is Caleb. Today we're going to be going over the rushing rules for our tournament at Common Ground Baptist Camp, our football tournament. So in our tournament, we don't have there's no blocking allowed of any kind. And we'll get into that more in the how to set picks section of the Reff video. But one of the most important things you have to realize is that we don't have to have a counting system or anything like that. You are allowed to set picks, and we'll get into that more later, as I just mentioned, but you have to start 5 yards off. So there's going to be lines in the field. If you look on the field, there's going to be some lines here, and those are going to be about 5 yards off, or 5 yards apart for each one of those. So the rush has to line up 5 yards off. So as we can see in this clip right here, is just starting off that the rush is not going to be 5 yards off. You can see the ball is in front of the line, and we're going to say he's right on the line, maybe a little bit in front of it. And so by rule definition, the rusher right here is actually offsides. If he were to come into the backfield and be the first one in, then he is offsides. Now, anyone coming into the backfield, anyone can go in as long as the first person is 5 yards off. So as we're watching this, as soon as he starts to come across, you can see the ref threw the flag over here. And part of that is, it may seem like, well, that's kind of ridiculous, you know, it's only maybe a foot off sides, but I recommend, if you're a ref, to look for things like this early on in game, get the penalty in, kind of warn them, talk to them, say, hey, listen, you've got to be 5 yards off, because what happens a lot of times is, slowly but surely, they'll kind of creep up. In this next example here, you're going to see again, when the rusher put his foot down, he might have been onside. To me, it looks like he's still a little up. But then he puts his hand down, and his hand makes him, wherever part of the body is on the ground is where he is, whichever one is closest to it. So his hand is right here, and as you can see, he's maybe a foot from the line here, and up here we're probably almost a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards almost up here. So again, on this play, what's going to happen is you know, let's go ahead, we watch the play here. Again, penalty is going to come right up right away, because you're going to see that he is offsides. And so a lot of times rushers don't like this. They kind of get frustrated. They're like, hey, wait a second, man. You know, I wasn't offside by that much, or I was 5 yards. They'll protest. What's going to happen is they'll start off here and then slowly work their way up. And if you watch some games, you'll see where the rush will end up almost being 3 yards off. And that really starts to be kind of a competitive disadvantage. In this next clip here, what you're going to see is we're in a goal line situation, and this is where this situation usually ends up the most, is like right on a first down or in a goal line situation. What happens is you'll see everyone crowded near the line of scrimmage to stop the center sneak, to kind of stop the QB from running. But again, the first person in the backfield has to be 5 yards off. So we kind of look here, no one is 5 yards off. So the person starts to come in, they're kind of confused, what do I do? Now they come in, and I would throw a penalty here on this play. What happens is at first there's no penalty here. He starts to come in, realizes I'm not 5 yards up, backs up. I'm not throwing a penalty here. But again, he comes in. Now you have to throw the penalty, and then you throw the penalty flag on that. And when we get to this next clip here, you're going to see this again in a little bit more of effect, where, again, the first person in the backfield has to be 5 yards off. So right here, you have the rusher. He's lined up right on the line here. And you're going to see this guy right here, he's supposed to be the second guy in. But what's going to happen is the first guy never goes into the backfield. And so what ends up happening is they don't have a guy from 5 yards off go in. You can see 80 stops. He doesn't actually enter the backfield. And so the QB, a lot of times, you'll see he's going to turn and look at the ref like, hey, man, that guy was offsides. He didn't get in. Whatever. And he's correct, but just barely. If we look at it from the other view, the other camera angle here, again, they're lined up 5 yards. The ball's right on the line here. And as he starts to come in, he stops for whatever reason, and he doesn't cross the line. So he's not in, so that is a penalty on number 32. However, if this guy had actually gotten into the backfield taken an extra step and maybe it was a half second sooner, then this would be a legal play by number 32 to come into the backfield. You're going to see this here on this next play, where you have number 3. He's going to start to come into the backfield, realize he can't. Number 9 here is 5 yards off right from here. Looks about 5 yards. Kind of hard to tell right from this camera angle. But as he starts to come out and in, you're going to see 3 starts to go in. He realizes, wait a second, I wasn't 5 yards off. Probably someone on the sidelines is screaming that he can't be in there. So he backs up, and then number 9 continues. At this point, 3 could come in. So we'll watch that in full speed because this is really this is well done. He starts to come in right about here. Oh, wait, I can't go in. 9's got to be the first one. Now, if 3 wanted to, he could go back in because 9 is the first person in the backfield. At this point here, where he steps in kind of first, that's illegal because he was not tagged up. Now, he doesn't realize if he just takes a step back, 9's in the backfield. But when he first crosses, like right around here, he starts to cross. He kind of tags up because he doesn't think he's 5 yards, and it's correct. Now, here's the tricky part on this play that's tricky for a ref. Technically, they get in both at about the same time. So, in this play, even though 3 was not 5 yards off, 9 is. So the judgment would have to be whether or not 9 was in before 3. If they both get in at the same time, where 3 times it just as 9's coming across the line, then this is a legal play. And so that's something to keep in mind here, because as you watch, and 3, he doesn't know 9's right behind him, so he does a smart thing. He backs up, and then 9 comes into the backfield. And that's something that you have to keep an eye on as ref. It's really tough to do. One of the things I recommend is a lot of times right before the play, you can kind of identify who is 5 yards off. So I'm looking out here on this play right here. Obviously, you have the 2 safeties. They're not, they don't look like they're going to be rushing. They're in. So there's really only 2 guys that are about 5 yards off. I have number 77 and number 15 here. Either of these 2 can be off. These guys are all clearly not 5 yards off. So I got to watch these 2. And then as a ref, you can make a judgment call and say, hey, wait a second. I don't know if any of these guys are actually 5 yards off. So you can tell that if you see one of these up guys go in, then you know that right away that's a penalty, because they shouldn't have been in unless one of these 2, if they were 5 yards off, went in. And so on this play, again, you can see this guy's not 5 yards off. So it's an easy call for the ref, because all 5 of these guys, with the exception of 15's probably 5 yards off, but everyone else on this line here, they're not 5 yards off. So the ref knows he doesn't see 15 even make an effort to go in. He can easily call that right away, and it's an easy call. So it's just something to keep in mind and keep an eye on. Again, in a situation like this here, you can see no one is 5 yards off. If no one's 5 yards off, then there cannot be a legal rush until one of them tags up at 5 yards and goes in. So just want to watch just this play one more time, because this is so well done by number 3 here. Again, starts to go in. He doesn't go in there, realizes he's not 5 yards off, and then 9 eventually is the first one in the backfield. That's a clean, legal play by number 9 there.